Now, episode 6 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers was very interesting. It had a lot of action, and the stuff that happened in the background is going to pay off for future episodes down the line, especially the Scrozzle stuff. Now, we'll get into that later on in the review. Now, the theme of this episode was Devon trusting his teammates because he relies too much on his instinct. It opens up with the Rangers flying off rockets into the sky, and Devon didn't really build his rocket correctly. He didn't have enough support on the sides, causing it to crash, and Ravi tried helping him out, but Devon didn't really want to listen. He kind of pushed him away, saying that Ravi was a bit of a know-it-all. He didn't say it exactly, but that's the way how Ravi came across to Devon. And then later on in the hanging, they're doing a simulation of forming the Megazord, which is really cool. I like it how they're actually doing training to form the Megazord, because in Power Rangers, they just form the Megazord because of plot convenience, but in this one, they're actually doing training on how to form the Megazord, because in the simulation, the enemy can attack them and stop them from forming the Megazord, which, why don't the bad guys in Power Rangers do that enough? Maybe they have done it, but seeing an enemy do it, even if it's in a simulation, is interesting, and maybe we'll get that in future episodes where the enemy will attack when they're forming the Megazord. So the Rangers fail the simulation, and Ravi says he's done this before with Blaze and Roxy, so he knows what he's doing. And this kind of upsets Devon, because Devon says, oh, so you don't trust me, even though I'm the leader. So he kind of storms off, and the commander gives Devon some really good advice, saying you should trust people who know what they're doing, even if you've never done it yourself, which is very good advice. It's good advice. I mean, that's what I go off. I mean, I'm the kind of guy, if I haven't done something or if I'm unsure, I see if the other person knows what they're doing, and I trust their instincts compared to mine, because Devon says, hey, it's my instincts is what got the Gigadrone captured in the last episode, which I didn't really bring up because they captured the Gigadrone instead of destroying it, which was really interesting, and that's going to come into play later down in the episode, because Roxy finds out where the hangar bay is due to Sentai footage, because I'm guessing that's where it's located. But anyway, Roxy finds the hangar bay, Scrozzle makes a monster that can melt the doors, and they get into the area where the Gigadrone is being kept, and they reactivate the Gigadrone inside of the hangar, and the Rangers have to stop it. And while this is going down, the Rangers get trapped in the hangar bay, which is a really good plan by the bad guys. Like, trap them in with a giant monster with nowhere to escape and nowhere to move, so that way they can't really dodge the bullets and they're going to get blasted to death. But Devon escapes on his bike, leaving Ravi and Zoe to fight the bad guy, or the smaller monster, because I know I always say, why do they always have to fight the smaller monsters? But from what people are telling me in the comment section, that's just what happens in the Sentai. So while this is all going down, Scrozzle sneaks into the hangar bay, or Nate's extra lab, whatever you want to call it, and steals a fair bit of tech. One of them being a strange helmet, which is probably going to come into play later down the line, because the helmet sort of looks like a stag beetle. Now, I sort of know what it's going to be because of the Go Busters footage and the Sentai footage and stuff like that, but for people who don't know what it's going to be, I get the feeling that Scrozzle is going to make his own droid, because at the end of the episode, Evox says now it's either Evox or Scrozzle, they can initiate the plan that they have in store. So I get the feeling with that robot head that they took, are they going to make a spare body for Evox to travel into the real world? Like, they're going to transfer his mind or his virus body, whatever the heck Evox is, into this stag beetle, because that's the feeling I get what they're going to do, because that way Evox can leave this dimension if he's placed into a body of something else. That's a crazy prediction, but I get the feeling that might happen. So Scrozzle steals all that stuff, and Zoe and Ravi manage to defeat the smaller melter drone. While that is going on, Devon fights off a bigger Gigadrone, and during the fight, Devon managed to use the bigger melter drone's melting thing, which is a really cool, it's a really weird effect. I should have brought it up earlier. So this melter drone, his special power is he's got a giant fire extinguisher for a hand or for an arm, and he sets off his smoke, and anything that touches it melts. So I have no idea what it did in the Sentai or how it worked in the Sentai. I should maybe watch the Sentai episode later on throughout the day and compare it, but whatever that did, it just melts it, and it's a really weird power. Like, it's just a giant cloud of smoke and then it just melts it down. So whatever that did in the Sentai sounds really crazy. So Devon frees the Slicer drone from the previous episode and they have to fight both of them. So the others get in their Zords and they form the Megazord. Now, I can't remember if they formed the Megazord for the very first time. I think they might have done it in the second episode. I can't remember, it's been so long since episode 2 came out. Plus we had the break in between a few episodes. But so they fight the 2 Gigadrones and they manage to defeat them. And that's pretty much the end of the episode, because they defeat the drones. We cut back to Scrozzle in the cyber dimension talking to Evox about the plan I mentioned earlier, and I like it how Scrozzle gets all the praise this episode, because he is just taking credit for everything like he does. Like, he's so like, hey, I did all this cool stuff, look at me, Evox, I'm so cool. And then because of the little mess ups that Blaze and Roxy do, they get in trouble and they get shouted at, which is kind of funny. But I get the feeling there's more to Scrozzle than meets the eye. He's more smarter than he appears. I mean, I said he might be a bit of a comic relief villain, but I get the feeling he's one of the more smarter generals we've had, and there's more to him than meets the eye, and I guess we're going to find out later down the line, because like I said, I think Scrozzle's planning something for that thing that he's hiding for. What is that thing he's hiding for? No idea, but I would like to know. So Devon apologizes to Ravi for being so rash, and everyone makes up and they're all friends at the end of the episode. But there's also the stuff that went down with Ben and Betty, because they were at the start of the episode doing their comedic antics, and then just how quickly they get ridden out of the episode, because like what happens, they're trying to find the general's rocket, their dad's rocket, that they sneak out and they take off and it gets broken, and then they try sneaking past Roxy when she's breaking into the hangar bay, and they get caught on the rocket by the parachute, and they're not seen until the end of the episode. So whoever's writing these episodes, I get the feeling they know how to do comedy in small doses and when it's appropriate, because you don't see them after that, like after that scene, you don't see them hanging from a tree or where they land. They just get Team Rocket blasted off again, and they're not seen through the rest of the episode until the very end. So whoever's writing these episodes knows how to handle them in small doses, which I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, I'm just saying whoever's writing this episode knows when there's too much comedy and the appropriate time it's needed on the episode. So that's pretty much going to wrap up my thoughts on Beast Morphers episode 6. Tell me what you guys thought of the episode down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up now, sign out. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you around in the next video.